Hey guys, just me with you here today. Piper and Corey had to take off, but we've got Michelle. We're wanting to do a member spotlight. Basically, the team that provides our programming provided a template for member of the month at the first of this month, and then it kind of went in with Michelle. Unasked, had made a post on her personal Facebook page celebrating her 1 year anniversary. She had some pretty awesome things to say, and I thought, well, if we're going to start this template, who better start it off with? Like, she'd already done most of the legwork for us, so it made it pretty easy to just kind of roll through with that. We'll be writing a blog up about some of the questions that she had answered for me and putting that out there, but we just wanted to, ask some other questions here and kind of, put a little bit more of a face with the name and let her kind of tell her story. So, Michelle, if you want to kind of talk about what, maybe just like high level what you had posted and kind of what you were feeling when you posted that.
So I, excuse me. So I was like in a really low state. I wanted to celebrate my 1 year doing CrossFit because it was something that I just did not think that I was gonna be able to do. I was very heavy. I think a BMI of like almost 40,
Yeah.
I think. And so I didn't even want to come in. Like, it was just to me, I was embarrassed of how I was. I'm from California, and like when you're in California, everybody's always outside doing something, and that being in Missouri, that was something that I had to get used to not doing during the winters. So I was always at a park or doing something over there. Here was just very not.
Yeah, just change your ability to be outside and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, so then once I came into CrossFit, I always like wanted to have like just a fit look, I guess. And so when I came in, my husband was actually the one who came in and dragged me in and we spoke to you about everything. And my husband, like, okay, we're doing this. You're doing this. I'm going to be away. He's a traveler. He's like a traveling nurse. And so, like, while I'm gone, you're going to be doing this. And I was like, okay. So he paid for it and everything like that. And I came in. Of course, it was super hard, but I still stuck to it. And I think ever since then, it's like, after I think about a month after my body adjusted to the soreness and stuff, like that's when all the endorphins and everything started kicking in, and I started seeing like a lot of progress in just my body and just in life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So.
So I think I probably know the answer to this because it sounds like your husband kind of drove the bus a little bit in terms of getting started. But did you research CrossFit, or like how did you decide, that this is where the gym that you were going to walk into first, if it was first, or kind of like what brought you through the doors? Did you do anything, or did he just kind of like, hey, we're going to get groceries and stop by?
It was kind of like that, honestly. Like, I always told him, like, I want to do CrossFit. I never actually researched anything like that.
Yeah.
I just knew, how hard you had to work, and that it was a very vigorous workout. And that's all I knew, per se. I didn't know any of the lingo or anything like that. And so I'm assuming that my husband just Googled the nearest CrossFit test.
CrossFit near me.
CrossFit near me, and boom, you popped up.
That's awesome. So you thought CrossFit was super vigorous, right? Super hard to do. How did your first month match up with that expectation? Because I think a lot of people, right, it's almost like high intensity. And I wonder how much that scares off people. Like, obviously it attracts the right kind of people, but it can also scare off the people that could still benefit from that. So you had the expectation that it was going to be vigorous. How was that met, or like did you find it I don't know, like, what did you think in terms of your expectations after like months or two? Or
It is still very vigorous. It is still like, there's still times where I feel like, I don't know if I could do this, like after round 2 or something like that, and I'm not even halfway there, you know, so it's still there. I guess like, in a sense, I was just like, how bad do I want this? Like, how bad do I want to finish? How bad is, like, I guess it's the goal. Like, at least I see a goal, so that way I can sense, okay, let me just get through this one, and then eventually I'm there.
Yeah.
And then, even though it still seems vigorous, at least I got there.
Yeah. I always think about something when I look at a workout that's really hard. I kind of think about the expression of, like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I'm just going to kind of show up and I'm going to do my next rep. I'm going to do it as well as I can, as fast as I can. And then if I need to rest, I'm going to rest. And if I don't, I'm going to do the next rep. And I just take one more step each time, especially on workouts that I'm really not looking forward to. Is that, like, I'm just going to get started and then we're going to, you know, see where it goes.
Yep.
And I think some people, like, they want to have an expectation of how it goes. For me, when I'm working out, I want to remove the expectation. I just want to complete it, because I get really in my personal feelings, like if I set an expectation and then don't match it, and then that can drive me down. Other people, it motivates them to push harder. For me, it kind of breaks me down if I don't do expectations management properly.
I think with every workout, I think I set an expectation, but I also kind of set sometimes the bar too high, and just so that I'm like, okay, but don't expect to complete it. I think that was with the Open too. I didn't know anything about the Open like at all until you guys started bringing it up, and I know that when I first started and I was seeing all the competitions, I think in August there was something here, and I came in and like sat like in the very back, and everything was like, you know, way over here, and I was still like, man, these people are strong. I will never do that, you know. And then the Open started coming up and everything like that, and I'm like, I think I could do it. You know, I'm not expecting to, like, you know, go anywhere, but at least I feel like I can say I did it. Yeah. So
that's awesome. For those of you that haven't read her post, or, you know, obviously the blog won't be out by the time you see this, but you had said you had lost 60 pounds, and we just celebrated 1 year.
Yes.
So I think you said when you started, your goal was maybe 20 to 40 pounds.
Yeah. At first, I wasn't expecting to lose that much. I was honestly just expecting 20. Like, I just, like, let me just get through this, just 20. Yeah. And I honestly thought it was going to take me a year, honestly. Yeah. Because to me, 20 just seems so far away, and I feel like I had been trying to lose weight forever. So 20 to me just was so much. And then once I did it, I'm like, okay, let's try another 20. And I'm like, okay. So then I kept like one bite at a time. Yep. And then eventually, like, I got now, and I'm like, man, I'm at 60. I'm like, okay, let's do a little bit more, just a little bit. Like, I'm not quite where I want to be, but and then after that, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna start working on skills or muscle or whatever the case may be after that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's kind of funny because I was talking to a guy last night. He's kind of in his first week. He had done like a class like a month, and the last week he came every day, and he's like, yeah, you know, right now I'm just trying to show up to the gym. He doesn't have a weight loss goal. You know, he's a smaller college student. And then he's like, yeah, you know, I never want to compete. I never want to do this. And I just kind of chuckled to myself because every time somebody starts, it's, I never want to do this. The number of people are like, I'm just never interested in a muscle up, or I'm never interested in a handstand push up. I'm like, okay, it doesn't bother me. What are you interested in? Right. And let's start there. And we'll work towards that. I know that we're going to start getting interested in those things. In most cases, I know the people that are like, they're clearly never going to be interested. That's not what they want out of this, and that's perfectly cool. But I also see the people where I'm like, no, I think this is going other places that you have in your mind right now, but we'll kind of see.
Yes, I think my biggest one was like toes to bar.
Oh.
Like I'm still haven't done, I'm not even close to it, but like just doing, I was like, I will never do that. Like,
Yep.
I'm not interested in that. Like, that looks like it will hurt my back and everything. And now I'm like, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, the technique of how people try, like, get everything up, I'm like, okay,
Yep.
it's going to take me a while, but I'm interested in that. Just other, like, movements, too. I know that I was working really hard on wall walks for the Open.
Oh, yeah.
Because I felt like I had no strength trying to hold my whole body up, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. So for the Open, was definitely the wall walks.
Yep.
So I'm happy where I'm at with that.
I would be surprised if wall walks make it in the Open again. That would be 4 years in a row that they put it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they almost always have toe to bar, thrusters, double unders, but most times they'll introduce a movement, then it'll be back the next year, and then they'll take it out for a little bit. So they've gone 3 years in a row. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep them or if they add complexity. So they've started adding the wall-facing handstand push-ups in the higher divisions. I've heard some people talk about the pirouette. So like you go into a wall walk and then spin on the wall and walk back
Oh
down.
my gosh.
Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
and like both as an individual, right, you continue to progress and maybe think that there's more skills, but also with CrossFit, like we think like we've seen all the movements we're going to get.
Right.
We
And then
haven't.
just, like,
They're going to find
this is
something
just
else.
fresh. Yeah.
So I think that's one of the cool things I like about CrossFit is that there's always something new to check off your list. And I'm sure people feel about that way in other sports, learning a skateboarding trick or a new
Yep.
volleyball hit. But for me, it really resonated with CrossFit and just seeing the new things that I could accomplish every day. It kept me committed and bought in, wanting to show up every day because FOMO. I didn't want to miss out
I
on the new
gotcha.
thing, right? Like I think yesterday we did Curtis Pease, which is probably the second or third time we've ever done them in this gym.
I read that on Sugar Watt.
Yeah.
Sugar Watt, and I didn't like when I look stuff up, but I'm like scared to like actually try it.
Yeah.
Thrusters was like huge one too. I'm like, oh, it looks
I have to
easy.
squat down, it
Yeah,
twitches over my
I was
head.
like, oh, that looks easy. But I'm like, oh man, no, this
Thrust-
takes your breath away easily.
Thrusters have a special place in, we'll say hell. But yeah, they you get compressed and you just can't breathe in the bottom, and then you don't
Yes.
want to pause at the top because that weight's overhead, but that's where you're supposed to. So yeah, thrusters are fun. What would you tell somebody kind of thinking about starting CrossFit?
Oh, I guess if you're interested, I would say come check it out at least a month, because I feel like a week is not gonna be enough for you to say I love it or hate it, or for you to actually see any results or not results.
Just soreness.
Yes, you're just gonna feel sore, and you're not gonna see the actual results, and it's just gonna be super sore.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least a month, I feel like you will at least understand at least some of the lingo. You will start to engage with people and everything, unless you're super extroverted, you know?
Yeah.
But you will start to recognize faces, and I feel like it's such a great community too. It's what honestly like brings me back. I know that in my post I shouted out to
I was going to bring that
people.
up. That was one of my favorite things about reading that post is the number of people that have inspired or helped you stay on the journey.
Yes.
That was really cool to read.
I feel like I wanted to write so many other people too, but I don't have them all on Facebook either.
Yeah.
But I did want to write more, but I also didn't want to make it like a long book either. So it was just like the people definitely just give you that extra push, and especially like when people are screaming for you to like get it, you don't want to disappoint them. So, and I think it's that disappointment in others, or that you don't want to disappoint yourself or others, that really like keeps someone in CrossFit. Just like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything else you want to say or add to anything?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think, weight loss and all that stuff is cool, and I've said it before, my favorite part is watching the confidence happen.
Yes.
I love seeing that. Maybe it's in the way that you wear your clothes or the way you walk. You just start to see people light up and building that confidence and just knowledge that you're capable.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part of my job. And when I wake up and read those posts, like, it always seems when I'm having a hard week and I'm doubting whether I should be doing what I'm doing, and whether I'm making the impact, and then all of a sudden I'll get hit with a post like that and I'm like, nope, I'm right where I should be. So I thank you for saying those things. It keeps me and all the other coaches motivated. It's not that we're going out, we don't do this for thanks, but it certainly helps.
Right.
It certainly helps to read those impact stories. And we just hope that we can reach the next person and impact them the same way and continue impacting you just as positively.
Yeah.
So.
It really is life-changing. I felt like after even if I decide to move back to California or something like that,
Nope, not allowed.
I know it's at this point everybody's like, you're never coming back. That's just it. You're never coming back. But regardless, I feel like I always want to stay in CrossFit. It changed my life so much that I got my first tattoo with it.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. I didn't know it was new, and then you posted it in I think a later follow or in the questions that you answered for me. So you had wrote the post and you came in to work out, and I saw the tattoo and I was like, I've never seen that before. But maybe it was you wore pants all winter, and I was like, maybe she's had it for a while, maybe she always had it. And then you said that in the answer, and I was like, well, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it.
That's awesome.
So.
I will say I've had numerous people ask me, what a weird post from Michelle to make when she's quitting. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, she's quitting the gym. And I was like,
what?
No. And I was like, she's just saying that she can't come to 8:30 anymore because
Yes.
she changed jobs, but she's
Yes.
just going to switch which class she comes to. Because
Yes.
everybody was like, she's saying bye.
Oh,
And
no.
so many people have thought you were quitting. They're like, well, what
Oh.
a great post, but to do that and quit? And I was like, no, I'm pretty confident you misunderstood.
Yes. No.
So,
Did I write it wrong?
no, I think, people will read however they read, but
Gotcha.
they read their name and they're like, oh, I'm going to miss you. And then
Gotcha.
they read the new job and they don't.
Correlate it to
Yeah,
that.
they don't.
Okay.
If you're an 8:30er, you kind of think the gym just exists at 8:30,
Yeah.
right? You forget about the people that are here at 4:30, and that's another cool thing about the Open. You see the people that you don't see at the other classes.
Yes.
But yeah, I had Michelle. So far as I know, is not
No.
quitting. She's still going to be here. I think maybe more afternoon classes. Is that what
I
it
think
sounded
more
like?
after. The truth is, I don't know what my schedule is
Yeah.
going to be like. I'm starting tomorrow, and they gave me a layout of the week, and then I think after that they're gonna give me a schedule. But I honestly have no clue what it's gonna look like.
Well, I know my wife will be happy to see you back at 3:30 if that happens. So
Sweet.
you guys kind of connected early on, I think. So.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I think so too. But all right. Well, thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your story, and I'll get your answers written up, and we'll kind of link that to the video. And yeah, just glad to have you as a member.
Thank you.
Hopefully this inspires somebody else to try CrossFit, whether
Try it.
it's here or anywhere else.
Try it.
Just post on Facebook that you want to try CrossFit. Plenty of people will tell you where to go and help you on your way. I promise.
Yeah.
You won't get them to shut up once they get started talking. All right. Thank you so much.